Okay, this one's fairly popular, but really it's an objection inside of another objection. Number 6 is, I don't have enough time. Now, that can mean, that's actually the beginning of other objections that have to do with time. Now, what do they mean they don't have enough time? They physically have no more hours in the day to do this? Or do they say, I don't have time to learn something new, I'm not ready to switch to something else or try something new, I really have no idea about your program, is what they're trying to say to you. So this is the beginning of another objection that has to do with time that's really interconnected with this one. So for what that means, we're actually just going to have to dig it out of them. So with that said, this one is a pretty darn popular one. So with that, I tell you what, let me get my remote. Let's go ahead and listen to how I handled this. This is a very easy objection to handle once again, but it's going to bring out some more skeletons in the closet of exactly what they mean by that. So let's go ahead and let's play it.
Well, what if I just don't have the time?
I know exactly what you mean. That's how I was when I first received that automated phone call, just like you did. Here's the number one reason why I moved forward. I haven't explained this part to you yet. The system is already all turnkey and drives people into you just like you were actually drove into me. You simply make a few phone calls each day and invite those people to the website. That's it. I know time is hard to come by these days, but to be upfront and honest with you, so is cash. That 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon is very likely worth several $1,000s cash to you at the end of the week. If you had a lot more cash, would that change your life enough to buy some more time with your friends and family?
Well, it sure would.
Of course, I'm not going to sit here and say that once you get cash rolling in every week that you won't be compelled to spend even more time on this, because more return phone calls equals more cash to your door. Remember, you keep all the cash in this opportunity, so more time actually is more cash. So if you could spare just a few hours a day and maybe 3 to 5 days a week, you'll be in good shape. Is there any other concerns that you have? I just don't want you to leave this empty-handed.
Alright, here we go. Believe I got you back here? Yes. Okay. Wow. What did you think about that one? There's a lot of different ways you can tackle I don't have enough time. Probably I don't have enough time and I don't have the money are two of the most versatile tackling objections to actually overcome. So let's go ahead and start with the way that I handled this. Now, you probably saw just from the way this message is set up here that they've been to the website. Sometimes people will say, I just don't have time to go to the website. A lot of times they really won't necessarily say that, or if they do say, I don't have time to go to the website, they're pairing it up with their next objection of, why don't you just tell me what this is all about? They don't want to take the time to go to the website and learn something else. So that's what they mean by I don't have enough time. And then they're going to pop off right then and say, usually someone won't say I don't have enough time, not going to your website, and stop. Especially if you don't stop. So if they say that, it's always paired with, why don't you just tell me a little bit about this, or what is this all about, which are very similar objections. So with this one, I wanted to tackle a lot harder objection, or a little harder on this, by they've been to the website. So first thing I always do is agree with them. I know exactly what you mean. That's how I was when I first received this automated call, just like you. Here's the number one reason that I did end up moving forward, though, and I haven't explained this part to you yet, which means, hey, get this. The system is already all turnkey and drives people in for you. It drives people directly into you, just like you were drove into me. So see, give them the role play of how easily they answered the phone and thought, and pressed the number, and all of a sudden they remember you now, because this has been to the website version, by the way. They remember you giving them a call and inviting them to the website. They went to the website. Maybe it looked neat. Maybe they've got lots of questions, but they just don't have time. They don't want to mess with it right now. So that's what you're overcoming right now. Now you've let them know that, hey, the machine found you. I invited you to the website. So did the others. So let's go ahead and move on. You simply make a few phone calls each day and invite those people to the website. That's it. I'm expressing just how easy this is to do. Let's see. I know time is hard to come by these days, but to be upfront and honest with you, so is cash. I threw the guilt trip on them. Now, I don't use the guilt trip too awful often because it can come off rude or a little bit blunt in some scenarios, but a lot of times it's an icebreaker as well. So is cash. That 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon is very likely worth several $1,000s cash to you at the end of each week. Now, we're going to go on to explain maybe not their first week. Some people it is, some people it isn't. It's a numbers game as our conversation would begin to evolve there. If you had a lot more cash, more guilt trip in a question that I already know the answer to, if you had a lot more cash, would that change your life enough to buy more time with your friends and family? Well, yeah, they don't really know how else to get out of that. They still think they don't have enough time, but they do, and we're dating it out. Of course, I'm not going to sit here and say, let's throw a little controversy in here, that once you get cash rolling in every single week, that you won't be compelled to spend even more time on this, because more return phone calls equals more cash to your door. I'm just kind of matter-of-factly speaking. Hey, you don't think you have enough time? This is all turnkey. It draws people in. Just invite them to the website. Overcome their objection, just like I'm actually doing with you now. That all comes in our training. And, it's a numbers game. I'm just kind of nonchalantly saying here, more phone calls equals more cash. Then you'll begin to actually, they'll be able to see without you going into boring them and thinking that you're selling stuff to them. You just gave them the summary. It's all ready to go for you. This isn't going to take much time. Remember, I'm going to throw this in, you keep all the cash in this opportunity. So more time is more cash. So if you could spare a couple hours a day, 3 to 5 days a week, you'll be in great shape. Is there any other concerns that you have? Is there any other concerns that you have is another way of just lightly telling them, hey, I know you're already kind of interested and involved in this already. Is there any other concerns that you have? This is kind of before we move forward and sign you up, is there any other questions I can answer for you? You're kind of putting a little bit of that feeling in the conversation when you're talking to them. I just don't want you to leave this empty-handed. Just a little bit more guilt trip there. Just be careful with it on the way that the conversation is going. You've got to be firm. You have to be confident. You have to be bold. You have to have the authority there. And then use the other little tricks, if you will, to actually control the conversation. So that's how we tackle I don't have enough time, which you will see will have several other little variances in it. They may say, I don't have enough time to do this. And you may somewhat use the script to dig it out, and come to find out they actually work from 8 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. And that's going to let you know that that's the next objection. They mean literally hours in the day is what they're obviously talking about. So go ahead and take the conversation and bend it around like you're astonished, like wow, so-and-so, you really put in a lot of hours. You should really consider something like this. My only job here is to load you full of information so you can make your own intelligent decision about this, but this would help you a lot. If you'll let me train you, I'll show you how to back off on some or maybe even all those hours. Does that sound like something? If I could show you how this doesn't take very much time? And they'll reluctantly go, and then go ahead and pop in. Let them answer, but go ahead and pop in and say, look, I'd be happy to show you how my system works. If you want to, you could do like a screen share or something. You could say, look, I just called this many people. I just returned just these phone calls, invite them to the website like I did you. The system just repeats itself. The system's ready to go if you are. And that's it. That's it. All right, let's move on into number 7 next.